Hey guys, this is GG Your Face, and I'll be talking about game number 2 between HuK and drewbie. HuK is spawning. He built a pylon, then he cancelled. I'm not sure if that was intentional, but HuK is spawning as the red Protoss player on the right hand side, about the 3 o'clock position, and drewbie is playing as the blue Terran player at the 6 o'clock position. The map is Metalopolis, and this is game number 2 of a lot. Whoever wins 2 games will move on. Whoever loses 2 games will die a terrible death. In any event, this one probe is harassing that one SCV, and he's going to harass another SCV, and the SCVs are going to chase him around. I think at this moment drewbie does know that HuK is at the closest spawning position because it's too early for him to have scouted drewbie if he were not at that position. And we do see one gateway is going up. That I don't know how much that pylon cancel is going to hurt HuK, but I don't think, maybe that was a misclick or some sort of lag. Well, I don't think it was lag. I think this is a LAN event, so maybe it wasn't lag. I think it was a misclick or a lot of intensive APM work that just accidentally happened to misfire. And one SCV will be going the correct direction. We will keep an eye on this one probe as it circles. I guess this is what you use all your APMs for, to keep control of that one probe. And the one probe has lost all of his shield and is going to pull back. And he does put that SCV inside, and he's harassing another SCV. This SCV finally inside the base of HuK at the moment. We'll see that he's getting an assimilator, a gateway, and the second pylon. Orbital command is going down for drewbie, and drewbie is going to be able to chase this probe. No, not going to be able to chase it away. The probe is going to fight this SCV again. There's a lot of hurt SCVs. This probe is waging a war of its own, leaving a lot of wounded veterans on the team of drewbie inside the base. Look at this. Yellow, yellow, orange, orange, orange. A lot of not full HP SCVs. And we do see Cybercore going up for HuK, and the second barracks is being constructed by drewbie. He doesn't have time to put down the tech lab, but now he does. And the Marine has come out. A second Marine is already outside, and the music for Starcraft 2 is kicking in. Always nice to see that stuff is working properly. And this one probe is outside, and we'll see that Marine, and he's going to fall back. He doesn't really want to lose that one probe, as he did lose a couple of minerals on that pylon that he cancelled earlier. Chrono Boost is being used on the Stalker that is currently being built by the gateway, and a reactor is being placed on the second set of barracks. Both players on one gas. HuK is working on his second gas, and at the same time, pretty much, I think drewbie also started his second refinery for the second gas. The shell is being researched by the Marauders. And I think this is a pretty uncomfortable position for both players because the distance is very, very close, and it will be difficult for either player to expand safely. And I think both of them are gearing up a rather larger army than usual if they were further away. 2 gas have been completed for both players. Both players are mining 3 on each gas. Yep, 3 on each. 2 gateways at the moment. A robotics bay robotics facility going up right after the second gateway. The conclusive shell about to be finished. Stem pack is currently being researched. Marines, Marauders, Marines, and Marauders. Whereas HuK has Stalkers and 1 Zealot. Chrono Boost is not being used. I think he's going to save it for the robotics facility. We do see a push coming up from drewbie. Drewbie's marching across. HuK doesn't know about this. He doesn't have any probes in position, and he doesn't have any observers just yet, and the robotics facility is not yet complete. The stem pack might be complete, and I think that's when he's going to push up with the stem pack. 1 probe is going to come out, however, and take a look at what's going on. Or maybe he's going to scout around, and he's going to see that drewbie is right outside his base. And at the same time, the warp gate is just kicking in. And I think drewbie wants to try to snipe a pylon here, possibly. No, he doesn't, because the range of those Stalkers are actually pretty wide. And I don't think this is a good idea to come outside, because he can easily get stemmed and pick off. Ooh, he actually lost 2 of those Marines, because maybe he misclicked. A couple of mistakes here and there by these pro players, and these Stalkers are chasing, and the Marauders are finally turning around, and they're going to take down 1 Stalker pretty much immediately. And HuK returned the favor, trying to take down that 1 Marauder, and he does manage to take it down. If we take a look at the army count right now, both players pretty much even, 44, 45 of 50 and 51. And we do see 1 Immortal coming out, additional Observer is being chrono boosted at the moment, and he's not going to save any more chrono boosts. He's using them on the robotics facility. One factory going up, and a starport is going up. I think this reactor is going to be placed on the starport. A lot of people do like to build the reactor early, so you can just swap the factory with the starport. It's a much faster way to do it than if you were to put down the starport and then attach the reactor to it. A nice Marine Marauder army, and there's one SCV in the back building a supply depot. I thought something else was going to come up. And we see one probe over here. We'll give a maybe vision of the army that is to come. One SCV outside the base of HuK, and HuK is going to be grabbing a robotics bay for that Colossus. And he is going to put the starport onto the reactor at the same time, lifting the factory, and we'll be sending that factory over to the base of HuK. Both players are about even at the moment. Both players not really wanting to grab the expansion, I think. Both players wanting the other one to blink. They're staring at each other across the little emptiness and the mink statues. And this one factory is coming across, and there was a cancel on a bunker, perhaps? This one probe, not sure if he has vision of it. No, the one probe actually does not have vision of the army. This is an Ali place probe, and he actually comes in, and he will see the army, and he will die. And right now, half of HuK's army is actually outside. The Stalker half is inside. The Zealot and the Mortal half is outside. I think he was maybe checking the edge of it for any rally point that might have been set and forgotten. A Colossus is being chrono boosted, and he does have more chrono boost for additional Colossus should he want. And this factory, we'll see exactly what kind of units HuK has, and drewbie might be thinking of going in soon. There's one observer, so both players do see what the other player is doing. I don't think he wants to engage because he does. I mean, drewbie does not want to engage because HuK does have the one sentry with more than enough energy to put down 2, 3, maybe even the 4th force field relatively soon. And is he gonna grab a second Colossus? He doesn't have the minerals for it, whereas drewbie is sitting on a little bit more minerals, getting a lot of getting a lot of Marauders and Marines. And these units are trying to shoot down that factory. The observer will reveal the positioning of the army, so they do feel a little bit safe, I guess, to try to take down this factory. And the factory is moving back and forth a little bit. This Colossus is a little bit ahead of its crowd, and the factory is on fire. A ghost is being produced, as well as the thermal lance is being researched. The scan goes off, and at that point, HuK decides to hightail it back home. The thermal lance is not yet complete. The Marine is just scouting for additional bases. I think he's thinking about grabbing a base, or maybe not grabbing. I think both players are content on one base at the moment, and I think HuK really wants to grab additional Colossus, because if you will give the Protoss player a lot of time to grab additional Colossus, it becomes awfully dangerous. And grabbing a 2 Vikings coming out of starports, 2 additional Vikings coming out, so there'll be 4 Vikings relatively soon. And I think there's 2 Colossus, maybe 1 or 2 more on the way. I think he has Chrono. He does not have Chrono Boost. A very nice mixture of armies, very, very well formulated. And that factory does get repaired by that one SCV, so it did not burn down. It can keep on scouting. And I like the positioning of these pylons. This one will be able to warp in units on the side, and this one will be able to warp in units down here, as he just did. 2 Stalkers, and this group of army is thinking about coming in. I think the Vikings want to get sight of what's ahead and moving the armies about. Both players moving these pieces like chess, just looking at each other, not quite doing anything just yet, not committing. There are Marines. I think he's waiting for the ghost. I believe the ghost has spawned. Maybe? Is there a ghost? There's one ghost somewhere. And they might be able to catch the... the Vikings almost caught the Colossus off guard, and the factory is floating in between. There is one observer there, and there's one factory. Both have full sight of each other, and they're just raging on the mink statue at the moment. And we might see an engagement. Let's see if the... they actually got a couple of free shots on the Colossus. The Colossus actually caught out of position. One Colossus is going to go down really fast to the 4 Vikings, and these Colossus and Zealots actually fall relatively fast to the Marauders and Marines. Now he's hauling all the way across the map, and the production of HuK has actually fully stopped, and these Colossus might be caught a little bit out of position again. Another Colossus goes down. A little misclick there by HuK, or maybe he thought his Colossus can run away, but man, drewbie got 2 Colossus snipes almost completely free. Well, not almost completely free, but relatively cheaply, I would say. And I think that was a slight mistake by HuK. HuK is corner boosting additional Colossus, and he did force the cancel on the command center that is currently being built, and he's building his own Nexus at the moment. And there is one observer. If you guys look really carefully, you can see this observer from the other player's point of view. I always like to hunt the other player's observers. You scan them, and then you shoot them down, and then you make them waste another 100 gas on another observer. I think about 200, 300 minerals for 100 gas is a worthy trade, and these stalkers will take sight of that medevac, and the medevac does fall back. Both players are gearing up toward the mid-game stage. Neither player has yet gotten any upgrades, but drewbie might be thinking about making another attack. He does have one SCV sending it in to see what kind of units that HuK has. HuK will reveal the fact that he does have an expansion, or he's going to grab an expansion. At this time, drewbie might feel strong enough because he has invested 100 minerals. HuK has invested 100 minerals in the Nexus, and he does scan. He does take down that observer. I think the observer just flew in the wrong direction. He flew into the scan that time. And we see the army falling very, very quickly to the thermal lance upgrade of HuK, and HuK is pushing forward a little bit. He should really get his stalkers to shoot down the Vikings on the side, and he just started to shoot, and both the Colossus do survive. One of them are on really low HP, the other one is not so bad. And this Colossus, I thought he was rallied to the wrong point. I thought he was about to march out of his base by himself. And right now, the Protoss player, HuK, does have a slightly in terms of economy, and he's going to snipe that one SCV that was just hanging out, letting drewbie know if HuK is going to advance, and this Marine is still marching back and forth between those 2 points to check out if HuK has expanded to an unconventional place. Both players still on 0-0 upgrades at the moment, but if we take a look at the unit count, there is a lot of Stalkers, a lot of Marines, and a lot of Marauders, and a couple of Vikings flying around trying to snipe out any Colossus that might be moving toward the edge. Army count 113 to about 80. Slight advantage for the Protoss player, and there might be another engagement. A Guardian Shield does go up, and these units are trying to run out of there, and the Viking might be coming from the side to try to snipe, and they actually did not manage to. One Viking awfully close to death there, and these 3 Colossus are moving slightly ahead of their army. Whew, I thought there was going to be a lot of shooting going on. And there's 2 Stalkers inside the base, robotics bay, and a lot of huge army outside. Both players are there's going to be one pylon all the way to the left side of the map. Additional Stalkers being warped in, additional Marines and Marauders being produced. Neither players, once again, getting any upgrades, focusing more on the micro of the players. And we might see a huge battle here. The 2 Stalkers, not 2 Stalkers, the Stalkers take down 2 Vikings, and one Viking's very, very close to death. The Vikings do fly a little bit faster than the others, so he actually lost a couple of Vikings there, and he's going to come in, lose another Viking, and these SCVs are getting into the mix. The Colossus is what he needs to take down. One Colossus is about almost dead, and he will take it down. There's too many Stalkers and Colossus. 2 Colossus still alive, pummeling away. Even though the SCV came off the line, they weren't enough to help, and I think the Orbital Commander is going to go down, and drewbie does call GG. Exciting game number 2. Hope you guys stick with me and go to game number 3. If you like what you see, please subscribe, and also click the like button, the thumbs up button on the lower left. There is a Ghost Academy. Whee! Game number 3. Yay!